I'm here at White Castle, where I'm going to show Arthur Schwartz the folly of his way. Like a lot of well-meaning and highly knowledgeable food people, Arthur thinks of White Castle just as some kind of a loathsome fast food or something. But in fact, White Castle is not only the avatar of the most perfect and exquisitely minimalistic of all hamburgers, but it's also the most historically significant hamburger. In fact, in my new book, Hamburgers: A Cultural History, I make the case, and I think it's pretty strong, that White Castle invented the hamburger.
Josh may be a burger historian, but I hate to tell you where his taste is. Why he likes, I have no idea why he likes White Castle burgers. To me, at best, it's a study in bread. The last time I was here, I got a big piece of gristle in my burger. I spit it out, and I've never been back. But, you know, I'm open-minded. Let's see if Josh can convince me that this is better than I think it is. So, Josh, what do we order here? What do you eat here?
Well, obviously, the thing to get here, Arthur, is, you know, it is not a hamburger. When you order the classic, standard, original product, it's not a hamburger. It is a White Castle. That is a White Castle.
A slider.
A slider, but that...
They invented the word slider for White Castle.
They more or less did invent the word slider, named, of course, for the ease with which it enters and exits your gastrointestinal. But that's just what you need when you're all hungover.
You know, I have trouble with this. You should not be going to a drive-in if you have had too much to drink. You're not supposed to be behind the wheel if you had too much to drink.
That was last night. Now I'm ready to...
Oh, in other words, we sleep it off and then we go for the slider.
Right, but the fact is that you need something that can easily pass through the intestinal wall.
And you think this is easy to pass?
That's why they call it a slider. That is why they call it a slider.
Oh, how many ounces of meat do they give you for 59 cents?
I think it's about 1.5.
All right, wait, so let's do the addition here. If I was going to do 1.5, let's times 7 to let's times 6 to do a normal burger.
Now this whole
that would be $3.60,
which is not too much
for a normal burger.
No, I resist. First of all, it's not true, because the normal burger, the classical universal proportion that a burger is supposed to have is 4 ounces. No burger should ever be bigger than 4 ounces.
Oh, come on.
This is the answer. Let me express to you why.
That's why you eat 2, 3, or 4 of them.
Yes, but that's the whole point. Okay.
It's greed.
It's not greed. What it is? No. The White Castle is an artifact of an earlier time in American history.
Tell me, I lived through it. You're too young.
I can't tell you if you don't let me talk. It is an artifact of an earlier era, prior to rampant supersizing and the grotesque gigantism which characterizes nearly all of American foodstuffs today. The White Castle hamburger was conceived as something that was tiny and perfect, like a little tea sandwich. And the fact is that it is more civilized to have 3 of those than to have one big piece of meat stuck between a bun, or even worse yet, as you see today in New York, like, you know, all over the place, these, you know, revolting kind of spheroidal planet-shaped type hamburgers that is almost more of a meatloaf on a piece of bread.
Not bad. Meatloaf on bread is a good thing.
That is good.
Got you there. I like a good meatloaf sandwich. I want to be convinced in my mouth.
Very good. You'll see, though. But Arthur.
Yes.
The thing is about this, look. You know, to me, a griddle is the most perfect of all cooking media.
If it's clean.
No, dirty. It's better if it's dirty. Dirty. That's where all the flavor comes from 1,000 hamburgers that have been cooked on it before. I mean, listen, here's the point.
I don't want, you know what, I've been in your kitchen. I was going to say I wouldn't want to eat from your kitchen.
Oh, don't
but
say
I
that.
have eaten from your kitchen.
That's not nice, Arthur. I made you nice dinner when I was...
Cleanliness is supreme in a kitchen.
Well, yeah, I mean, what is my kitchen? It's not in a laundry room, you know?
That's true.
You know? All right, listen.
Actually, that day you were cooking in disposable aluminum.
My kitchen, I have a new kitchen, by the way.
I know, I haven't been to the new apartment.
You could make microchips on that.
Okay.
You know? But listen, here's what I'm saying. This burger, it's not what it used to be. There's no the beautiful browning effects, Maillard effects that are so important in hamburgers traditionally. steamed, it's frozen, it's low-grade meat. We all know that. But the base, aside from its historical significance, if you think of it as kind of like the colonial Williamsburg of hamburgers.
Okay, I could buy that.
The fact of its proportions. Now, like, for me, in terms of my hamburger aesthetic, I feel that what defines the flavor profile of a hamburger is not meat or condiments or anything else, but geometry. To me, the structural morphology of a hamburger.
The who?
The structural morphology.
What does that mean?
That is to say, the shape of the burger.
Ah, okay, in plain English.
In other words, the ratio of surface to interiority is what determines the flavor profile. I don't need any sauce. Is what determines the flavor
we get ketchup?
profile.
So the idea of eating White Castle burgers, if you want to call them burgers, on the back of Josh's, what do you call this, J.O. Lovemobile?
J.O. Lovecraft.
Yeah, the Lovecraft. This is a
1990 Coupe de Ville.
1990, it's that late, huh? 1990
Last of the great
Cadillac Coupe de Ville. The whole idea is divine, especially on 4th Avenue in Brooklyn. Now, we have White Castles.
Well, here, let me show you what we have here.
Okay, this is a normal White Castle.
Now, what we have, this is the classic product.
Okay.
This is what started it all.
Okay.
The sandwich that started a global revolution.
Here, you can see here. You can see the onion here.
Right, there is the onion. So just a little bit of ketchup, a pickle, a single pickle, some little bits of onion, and you see that they have the machine bored holes in here, and that helps the steam to permeate.
Right, so
the bun.
this is the classic White Castle.
This is the classic.
The slider.
Slider. Delicious. You can't get another hamburger that has this proportion of meat.
This really brings into doubt anything you ever say. I have to, even this is really stupid. This is, you know what I say, the most disheartening thing in my life is watching people enjoy bad food.
No, it's good.
And this is really bad food.
I think it's delicious. Even it is bad, but it's delicious.
Where did you grow up?
Atlantic City.
Did your mother cook?
Yeah.
Did she cook well?
Yeah.
And she let you eat these?
I was actively encouraged to eat them.
Really?
Now let me show you the
I'm gonna eat the end that has the pickle, because maybe it'll have a little taste if I eat the pickle.
Now the next stage in the evolution of the White Castle burger was the double White Castle. And of
Double
course,
bad.
This played off of Robert Wien's 1937 invention of the Big Boy, which was the introduction of a central layer of dough. Now the beauty part about
So it's more bread and a tiny bit more meat.
Well, no, it's twice the amount of meat.
Twice the amount, but it's already a tiny amount of meat.
Yes, but that's the whole point.
This is a 16th of an inch.
This is an essentially
of
refined.
Meat.
This is a refined, delicate dish. This is not about gulosity. This is not about gross feeding.
I love refined.
Now, if you look at
not
this too, this bread here is totally saturated with grease, so it becomes like a kind of pseudo bechamel. The other thing I would point out is the essential pillowy.
Your little strands of onions, just
look at how pillowy it is.
pillowy.
All three levels are essentially made of air. You know what they call white bread air bread in parts of the South.
This is exactly why I don't like it, because I'm not looking for pillowy in my hamburger.
See, that's
I'm looking for meat.
Well,
a hamburger to me is about meat. The bread is something to hold it with.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is, in a sandwich like this, if it was a bigger, puffier, harder bun...
Excuse me, if I show you the profile of this, it is all bread. I dare you to find the meat.
Yeah, but the middle
see the pickle sooner than the meat.
The middle layer, though, you'll note that the middle layer here, well, it's not as
grease.
It's not as immediately visible.
All right, let me turn. I don't want to spoil my appetite because I'm going to have a good burger later.
I'm going to have one more bite. Now look at this.
No, the cheese one I'm interested in.
The cheese one. If you don't like this,
the cheese I might like.
If you don't like this, then
I'm first looking for the place that has the pickle, because the place that has the pickle and the ketchup is the best spot. You could take one big bite out of this burger and then throw the rest away.
No, you should never do that. Now this is the premium product, the White Castle. This is an item of absolute voluptuousness. All right.
Okay.
If you don't like this,
I'm absolute voluptuousness.
Irredeemably prejudiced, I feel. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh. Well, I'm not saying it's as a hamburger. Don't think of it as a hamburger. Think of it as a meat and cheese petit four. It exists apart from...
This is by far the best of what we've eaten. I mean, because it has something other than bread. I mean, I bit into where the pickle and the mustard, the pickle and the ketchup and the cheese are. So, it's okay. But it's still not a hamburger. Like it says, it's a meat petit four.
It's a meat petit four, but I would say that this is close.
How much does this cost?
This is like, I don't know, $1.79.
Really?
$1.40. I don't know. Do I pay attention to the cost?
Anyway, this is the Old Homestead, one of the oldest steakhouses in New York. And it's actually not a place I come for steak, but my friend Gail Green said that I am going to adore this hamburger. It is everything I want in a hamburger, which means it is meat, mainly meat. Let's go.
When I make my hamburger in the cast iron skillet, here's what I do it. I take the meat.
I season it on the outside, by the way. I do heavily salt it on the outside.
Heavily salt, some little bit of pepper. I make a ball. I roll the ball until it's a perfect sphere. Like
Sounds good so far.
The fearful sphere of Pascal.
Okay.
Then I take two pieces of wax paper and I smush it so that it becomes a perfect disc.
I use my hand.
Then I get the pan wicked hot.
Yes.
It goes down.
Yes.
The smusher goes on top. No, you don't push it. You just let it rest there as a weight to prevent buckling.
What do you use as a weight?
It's a bacon press.
A bacon press, okay.
And this prevents buckling. And then it goes like...
It's not buckling. It's sort of puffing up a bit.
Well, puffing, buckling. It's 6.5 minutes.
You're using such scientific language, morphology.
Well, this is the science
buckling,
of meat.
Science
of hamburgers.
Hamburgers puff.
But listen to this, Arthur.
Yeah.
You cook it for the 6.5 minutes, so
right.
one side is
6.5. That's a long time.
totally brown and rugged.
But that's a pretty thick burger, Josh. You don't like thick burgers.
No, it's not thick because I smush it. Then I flip it.
Yeah.
The cheese goes on, and the second the cheese melts, it comes off.
Oh, so the second side really doesn't get brown.
No, that's the technique.
I see.
Because you want to maximize the Maillard effects. You want a rugged Maillard. You know the Maillard reaction?
The Maillard. I don't speak scientifically. I speak like a cook.
Browning.
It browns. My onions don't caramelize. They fry.
But once it is brown and rugged, the contrast...
Well, I get the brown and rugged on both sides.
Well, then it must be a thick burger, because the burger... I like a burger that's maybe, like...
Right, that's why I'm saying if you leave it 6.5 minutes on one side, it's already cooked through.
I think it should be as thick as a Reese's cup. All right, you ready? Well, I will grant you that it is very high quality meat. The flavor of this is really off the hook, and the nice thick piece of Bermuda onion. I'm enjoying this much more than I expected to. I have to say.
Well, because the great meat is undeniable.
To me, I would say that as much as I love hamburgers and I love the meat and everything, to me, a hamburger without cheese is a maimed and naked thing. Well, I mean, the cheese is a kind of integral part of the whole dish.
Cheeseburger. But I grew up in a Jewish milieu where even though we weren't...
What was I, an Amishman?
Well, but you ate cheeseburgers.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, we wouldn't have eaten cheeseburgers. I mean, even though we weren't kosher, we were kosher style, and my grandfather would have thought it an abomination, aesthetic abomination.
Want to try the bacon? Mm-hmm. That's very good.
We agree on bacon.
Well, I think
the best bacon in New York
is what?
Rub.
100%.
No.
100%.
Well, I would come back and order this in a minute. I would just make sure to say lettuce and tomato on the side.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even have it on the side. To me, a lettuce and tomato has no role at all.
Well, it might look nice on the plate.
That's a kind of garnish, though.
A morphology.
Well, Arthur, thank you for inviting me to have this lively debate and eat these hamburgers. It is so delicious, and I think that we've both